Adolf Hitler was planning his invasion of Poland, part of his larger plan for world domination. British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain, who had previously appeased Hitler in his demands for land and resources, put his foot down and insisted that if Hitler invaded Poland, England and France would be there to intervene. Knowing that he faced stiff opposition from the West, Hitler looked east for an ally.
Well, naturally, Stalin was the best choice for Hitler. He had resources, millions of people at his disposal, and was willing to cooperate on Hitler's terms. What more could you want from an ally?
Although Hitler despised the Soviet Union and all nations he perceived to be communist, in order to prevent a two-front war, Hitler and Stalin arranged a meeting. The Nazi-Soviet Pact of 1939 was a written guarantee of non-combative measures by each party, a commitment that neither country would ally itself with the Western powers, and a division of Eastern Europe into German and Soviet spheres of influence. But why did Stalin sign the treaty with Hitler? What did he hope to gain? And what risks did he take, knowingly or unknowingly?
Stalin wasn't oblivious. He knew that Hitler would come for the Soviet Union eventually as part of his Leave and Somme plan. Stalin wanted to avoid Nazi Germany's advances. He figured that if he could come to an agreement with Hitler over Poland and other Eastern nations, that he could gain the spoils of war without fighting the war. Stalin could sit back and watch while Germany and the Allies destroyed each other.
With Hitler giving away countries like he was Oprah and taking the lead on fighting the Western Front, Stalin was prepared to use the Non-Aggression Pact signed between Germany and the Soviet Union to witness the destruction of his enemies, which would allow for the rise of the Soviet Union and communism. In a diary entry dated August 27, 1939, mere days after signing the Nazi-Soviet Pact, Stalin writes,
I have done the unimaginable. In signing this pact with Hitler, I have secured the power for the Soviet Union in this war. If all goes according to plan, Hitler and the Western Allies will wear themselves down and the Soviet Union can take its rightful place in the world power. Hitler has promised me control of certain areas, including the territories of Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, Finland, and Romania. Today is a great day for Mother Russia.
Of course, there were risks associated with the signing of a pact between, arguably, two of the most volatile countries of the 20th century.
Of course, President Stalin knew he was taking a great risk by trusting the Nazis. There was always the fear that Hitler wouldn't uphold his end of the bargain. Hitler did not hide his disdain for our people, or for any people that were not of the Aryan race.
This was a very risky endeavor for Stalin because he assumed that fighting World War II would be identical to World War I. He thought he could predict how the fighting would go. He also didn't expect Hitler to stab him in the back. Stalin was convinced that Hitler would follow through with the plan and not deviate from his plans.
Stalin's short-sightedness would leave Russia open for attack on June 22, 1941, when the Germans enacted Operation Barbarossa and turned on their Eastern allies. While he may have had good reasons for signing the Nazi-Soviet Pact initially, Stalin did not take into consideration Hitler's treacherous nature. Stalin never expected Hitler to turn on him and was woefully unprepared to handle this betrayal. Stalin. Hitler. World War II. Soviets. Nazis. Politics.